Well, I've been in the tri-state pretty much my whole life. I've grown up on what I consider the good side of the river in Kentucky, but I do work in Indiana and we've been around the area my whole life. What keeps me around here is probably my family. We have a really close-knit family, and we've had opportunity when I graduated college to move down south, and more recently had an opportunity to move to Alaska. And we decided that our nieces and nephews are pretty important to us right now, and we enjoy being around them. So that's what keeps us around. So what identifies my style? My style would definitely be wildlife. As I've mentioned several times, I love shooting wildlife. I love being out in the field. Nature as well, and landscape photography, I'm trying to do quite a bit as well. A few of my favorite things about the area are, well, for one, I'm not a huge city guy, and I consider Evansville like a miniature big city. It's got everything it needs, everything I'll ever need, and I'm not too far away from Evansville, so plus it also has the opportunity to attract concerts, comedians, large sporting events, so that's kind of nice for me as well. But one of my favorite things about the area is the wildlife management areas. There is a vast majority of different wildlife management areas where we can hunt, fish, enjoy photography or other outdoors activities, and it's free public land. So that's one thing I really enjoy about the area. So what got me into photography and how long have I been a photographer? Well, I've been into photography for as long as I can remember. Growing up, being a child, I would spend some of my extra money on disposable cameras, and I would love shooting pictures of any random thing I could find, and then having them developed, which with the disposable cameras was a few days. I really enjoyed seeing pictures come out at that point. Recently, as of the past 3 years, I've been able to purchase some equipment that allowed me to grow as a photographer and learn a lot more than I had previously knew. So that's helped a lot as well. The kickstart, I would say, was when I was in college. I went to Vincennes University. I majored in conservation law enforcement, and that allowed me to take a class on crime scene photography. So at that point, we were filming on 35 millimeter, and we had to develop the film, and that was something completely new to me, and I think that really kick-started my passion for photography on a different level. Well, my favorite things to photograph by far are critters. Anything that walks, runs, flies. I love shooting animals or wildlife. My favorite thing to shoot by far has been my dog. I'm an avid waterfowler. Anybody who knows me knows I'm a huge outdoorsman, an avid waterfowler, and most good waterfowlers have a retriever. And recently I had a female Labrador that passed away unexpectedly. And again, anybody that knows me can attest that she was by far my favorite thing to photograph. Luckily, I've got hundreds of pictures I can look back on to share and remember her over the next several years. But by far, wildlife, critters, waterfowl. I enjoy photographing hunts, so if I do go on a hunt with someone, I always got my camera with me, always trying to snap those shots to relive those memories down the road. So that's really what I enjoy. How do I feel about printing my work? I don't print any of my work myself, but as far as having my work printed, I love to print pictures. There's nothing better than mail day when you know you've got a package coming with boxes and boxes of prints. Some of my favorite prints are acrylic and metal. I love printing canvas as well, but my house, we just recently moved and our new house is full of different pictures that I've taken, and I enjoy seeing the print. Obviously with technology now, you can have every picture on your laptop or iPad or iPhone, and I have all those as well, but seeing the actual print displayed on your wall where people can view it, there's nothing better than that. I really enjoy that. So where do I see myself in 5 years, and what are my goals as a photographer? I haven't been in the photography field long, a few years. I'm learning a lot. One of my main goals is to learn a little bit with every picture I take, and I see that happening on a daily basis, whether it's out in the field or editing photos. I'd like to get to the point to where it doesn't take 300 pictures to get that one that I'm happy with. I'm sure all photographers can attest to that or agree with that. But in the next 5 years, what I would like to do is, again, grow myself as a photographer, learn a lot more as I continue to learn. I would like to get into humans. Some people will see that funny, but photographing people, it intimidates me a little bit. I love to photograph myself, whether I'm in the field or hunting or using a timer. I really enjoy to do that, but other people intimidate me. I love wildlife, animals, things like that, as I've already mentioned. I would like to get into portraits, learn a little bit more about the aspects of that work as well. Also, I wouldn't mind to see some of my prints publicized in a few different publications that I read. That's one of my main goals, is to have the work to the level where it's viewable in a setting like that. I'd love to have my work publicized at some point. The gear that I typically use, I shoot Canon bodies. The camera I started out with was a Rebel SL1. A small little camera, came with a kit lens or 2 kit lenses, and I was amazed at what you could do as far as quality-wise with a camera at that price level. I learned a lot from that camera, and I moved up to the 7D Mark II. Love that camera as well. The glass that I prefer to use is Sigma. I have a Sigma 150-600 that I enjoy shooting wildlife with. I also have the 35mm 1.4 Art Series. It is an amazing lens that I really enjoy. Editing software, I like to use Lightroom. I'm still learning a ton from that. Photoshop Elements as well for some different editing. And I have a few other Canon lenses as well that I've purchased, but Sigma and Canon are definitely a really good combination for me. Any tips for those just starting out? That's a good question, because I could have took a lot of tips when I started for sure. I would say several things. The first thing I would say is take pictures. Take a lot of pictures, as many as you can. Keep putting that button down. Eventually you're going to get a picture you're happy with, and the further on you go, the more often those better pictures will pop up, or at least that's the way it was for me. Second thing I would say is Google, 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 YouTube, YouTube, YouTube. I learned so much, and I still learn a lot from YouTube. There's several people that I watch almost daily on YouTube that I feel like are friends and family now, because I see their videos so much, and I've learned a lot from them, a whole lot. Another thing I would say is keep your camera with you. Always have it with you, and get what you can afford. If you can't afford a high dollar-end camera, which I couldn't when I started, I got a kit lens, a kit package, and I was very happy with it. So get what you can afford, do the research, take pictures, and always have your camera with you. So on a scale from 1 to 10, where do I see myself as a photographer currently? Well, there's days I feel like a -2, and then every once in a while I get a photo that, man, I'm a 9.5. But on average, and that's what I consider myself average, I would say I'm about a 5. I hope to one day get to that point where I'm at a 5.1, or what I would say above average. But there are a lot of great photographers out there, and I would like to consider myself average or middle of the road in the photography field right now. As a photographer, what do I struggle with the most? Well, there's a lot of things I struggle with. I would say on the surface, the thing that's visible for me the most is saturation. And that's going to sound silly to anybody who does any photography work at all. But I love editing photos. I can sit at a computer all day long and edit and play with pictures. I typically use that saturation cruiser a little bit more than I should, probably because I just like bright vibrance. But after the picture is done, I look at it and go, that's a little too much saturation. But the first way to fix a problem is admitting you have one, and I would say that's my problem right there. So what inspires me? I'm easily inspired. It doesn't take much to get me going or get me inspired on anything. But I would say what gets to me the most is just a simple compliment on my photos. Because I know I work hard on my photos. I'm always out trying to capture that one good shot that I'm looking for. And when someone says, man, that's a beautiful picture, or your pictures are amazing or great, which doesn't happen often, but when I get that compliment, that really inspires me to go out and do it again or get a better shot. And then again, I've had several individuals, friends of mine, that have came up to me and said, hey man, I bought a camera, or what kind of camera should I buy? And they tell me they bought one, and they bought it because of me or because of the pictures that I post on Facebook or the pictures of mine that they see that inspired them to shoot. And that just inspired me again. So I'm pretty easily inspired, but I would say just a simple compliments or the ability to inspire someone else or bring them into photography really helps me continue to do what I do. So what am I passionate about? That's a good question. I'm passionate about way too much, probably. My hobbies consume me. I have a ton of hobbies, and sometimes they get in the way of my other hobbies because I can't go halfway on anything. I'm always full in on anything I'm doing. So too many hobbies, too many passions. But if I can narrow it down to a few, I would definitely say my family, my pets, and wildlife and conservation. Those are the three top of my list for sure. So what do I want my clients to know about me? Well, I want them first off to know that I do this because I love it. I love taking pictures. I love saving memories, and that's what photographs are all about. Being able to have a picture on the wall or a picture in a scrapbook or anywhere that you can relive a memory, retell a story, and years down the road, that story is going to be retold for generations and generations, hopefully. But that's what photography is all about, and that's what I want to know about me, is that I'm trying to save those moments so they can relive them down the road and pass them on from generations. I also want them to know that photographs make people smile, right? They make people laugh, or some of mine make people laugh on occasions. They make people smile, they make people happy. And if I can make someone smile or make someone laugh, I've done my good deed for the day. So that's really what I enjoy doing, is make people smile and laugh as well. I'm a husband, a huge outdoorsman, huge UK fan. I love my dogs, and I'm a white-tailed deer farmer. My name is Josh Neal, and I am a wildlife, outdoorsman, and hunting photographer.